Good day everyone. In this video, I will be presenting standardized directory architecture using native vanilla PHP and the model view controller or MVC pattern. So through step-by-step code demonstrations. So here are the codes that we will be using in this demonstration. Okay, so as written here, we will be using Vanilla PHP, which is a pure PHP from scratch without relying on external frameworks like Laravel or Code Editor. So we will be using this one, this native Vanilla PHP, for us to understand how this web application actually works behind the scenes at a fundamental level. So the structure of our codes here is based on a vanilla PHP. Okay. And in this video, we will be exploring a practical project named ISU Extension Tracker. So here is the pages or the website for that project. Okay. So first, we'll have the structure of our working folders. So we are using here a sound controller. So our files are saved in its htdocs folder. Our file name here is ASU extension tracker, and inside that one we have two folders. We have first the app, wherein there are four folders. These are the three folders for our MVC pattern. So the files having the codes for the model layer, for the controller layer, and the view layer. So we will be exploring that later. So first, let's have this config folder. Inside the config folder, we have here a config file. This is a PHP file. Okay, so when we look into it, actually this file consists of the database connections, but for this example or for this demonstration, we will not be integrating database yet, but we will be having a data, okay, which will be controlled by our um, controller files, okay, to be able to be viewed or displayed in our view files or view layer files, where we will be getting that data will be from the model files. Okay, so here again is where we will be placing the codes for the data. Okay, but for now we have here settings for the configuration. So we have here a defined global variables, okay, or global constants. First is the base URL and second is the app name. So I'll explain that further later. Okay, so let's go back to the structure of our folders or files. So we have the config. Now we will go to the controllers. So as I have discussed to you in our previous lecture, okay, our controllers are act between, okay, it acts between the model and the views. Okay, the controllers here, okay, is loaded to call functions, okay, to get data from models and display it the views files. So these are the files where we could see displays in our web page, okay, website. The web pages, okay, is being loaded from the views layer. So these are the files for our views layer. Aside from that, we have here the templates. Okay, in templates, I have separated here the views for our header, which is this part, header, our sidebar and our footer, because we will be reusing it in all the web pages that we will be creating for this project. Okay, so for now we have two main page. Okay. We have here the project details view .php and the project list view.php. Okay, so again, so here are the reusable files which we could be used in the views layer or web page displays. Okay, so next we have here we're done with. We have the controllers, of course, the project details.php and the project list.php. So I will be demonstrating or lecturing later the content of these files. And we have here the model. So this is the file, okay, which holds the data. Okay, that the controller shall be controlling to be able to be displayed in the view files. Okay, and what else? Okay, another folder is the public folder. So this public folder here, okay, when we uploaded or hosted this website online, okay, the main page to be viewed or loaded or the landing page will come from this folder, the public, specifically the index.php. Okay, so as you can see here, here is our um, code for that. But okay, notice this one. This file is the application entry point and procedural router. So this index.php consists of the routers. Okay, so which route shall the web page display? So we have here two. Okay, project details.php, project list.php. But remember, okay, as I have told you earlier, these files here, this one, the project details and the project list is from the controller folder. Okay, why? Because as I have discussed to you, only the controller controls what shall be displayed in the view. So this index.php here does not directly, okay, uh, call the views files. So here are our views files, but these file names are not visible in our index.php. Okay, so you will know later why. Okay, so I will be demonstrating, I will be discussing all the codes here. Okay, so what else in our folder structure? And okay, nothing more. Oh, in the our CSS here or the styling file here is also structured to be in the public folder because okay, this public folder here will be the one our browser will contact. Okay, which file is to be displayed? How shall I display this page? Okay, so that is how the browser will ask, okay, the structure in terms of displaying. Okay, so what else? That's it. So first, let's have okay the config.php. Okay, so this one is important because this section or this file contains the settings of our application, the settings of our website. Okay, so notice global application configuration settings. I just put here our course code and course subject. So when we say global, okay, a global variable could be reused or used in any file. Okay. So when the HTTP or through HTTP, this one, okay, here, these are our global variables will be reused from or to other files here. Okay. So first defined global variable is the base URL and its value is this one. Okay, base URL is this one. Notice localhost, ISU extension, tracker, then public. Why is it or why does it stop there? Because as I have told you earlier, our index is saved here, and once we uploaded here or hosted this one online, okay, what the browser will read first or the landing page is in the public here in index.php. And this one will be the root, okay? Again, as I have told you, this will be reused. So I'll explain further later. Then we have here the app name. So this shall be used globally for the title, okay? Title setting of our web page, okay? It's actually here in our header and also in our tab title. Okay, so how I will explain it to you later because in our previous lesson we had the traditional procedural PHP wherein in one file the connections, the configurations, the displays, the controller and model, okay, layers are all in one file. So however in this MVC, okay, it is separated. Okay, so why should we use that architecture? Because it is safer, okay, from hackers or public viewers. Okay, so next, let's have in the app folder, let's take first the template, okay, in our views. So again, the views layer displays, okay, content for our web page. Okay, so let's have first the header. Look at this one. So I will not be discussing anymore the lines 1 to 5 because you already knew that. Observe line 6. We have here PHP code calling the value for page title variable followed by a dash, and then this dash here is just a string, and then followed by another PHP code calling the constant variable app name. Okay, so this header here is being displayed or being called, okay, in our views files. Our views files, let's check. Our views files here are this one, details view and the list view. So here are the files, list view and the details view. Observe in the list view, header.php is being called. In the list view, header.php is being called. Now, there shall be a difference when this view or list view is displayed and this details view is displayed. Okay, check. In the list view, this one is being controlled. So we have a controller to display that view. This view is being controlled by this file, projectlist.php. Let's check the controller's files. We have project list and project details. Project list is the controller for project list view, and the project details view is being controlled, or the display of it is being controlled by the project details view. Let's go back to header. The one variable here, page title, is being called and being displayed through the controls. Okay, if we intend to load the list view page, the title shall be Active Community Extension Initiatives dash app name ISU extension tracker. Again, if we load list view.php, this one shall be displayed. Active extension or active community extension, we can see the whole thing. Okay, let's check this one. It's in the settings head. This one, active community extension initiatives dash ISU extension dot tracker. So meaning this one here, okay, we'll be exploring the sidebar that PHP later. This menu here, okay, redirects to this one, this controller. And this controller, okay, this logic here controls the display in the project list view. Okay, project list view. So here, the page here tells us here are the projects. Okay, that is why it is named, or the file is named project list view. So we view the lists in the project. Okay, so we have two projects here. The when you hover the tab title, it is shown here. Active Community Extension Initiatives dash ISU extension tracker. Now, what if we select this one? Okay, observe we are now in the details, this one, in the details page. And when we check on the setting, okay, the title tab was changed to Project Scope Details dash ISU Extension Tracker. So when we hover the tab title here, we have project, it is changed. Now that view is in this file. Okay, in this file, it is being controlled by the project details at PHP controller. It says if that page is loaded, the page title shall be Project Scope Details in the header, plus the dash, string, and the app name. Okay, so that's clear. Next, okay, we have here in the body of the page, okay, we have here a header, which again calls the global variable app name. So where is that being displayed? Again, in the configuration, the app name is ISU extension tracker. So here it is in the header, ISU extension tracker, the header part. Okay, header in H1 tag. Okay, header in H1 tag. The title tab is in the head settings through title tab. Okay, so that's it for the header.php. Now let's have the sidebar.php. Okay, check this one. This is our sidebar. So we are able to click the menus, active projects. Okay, for now, we will, this two project is being displayed here. Okay, just to have other menus. We have active projects, project 101 and project 102. Okay. Observe here, what's new to you here? In line number 4, okay, the base URL is being called as the hyperlink reference. Okay, meaning if we click on active projects, we will be redirected on the base URL. And where is that base URL? Here it is. In the configuration setting, the base URL is in the public folder. Okay, our public folder here, if we load that one, okay, what should be loaded is the index.php. Okay, and again, in this index.php, this is the routing procedure. Okay, what shall be displayed? So the index.php shall tell our browser that if the page is list, okay, check this one in the sidebar.php. If the page is list, okay, the default here in our router is list. So here is the default setting. If the land page is loaded, the default setting shall be the project list.php. Okay. Now, this is a controller. The project list.php controls the page that should be displayed should be the project list view.php. Project list view.php here is this one. The one showing this string here, showing active. So let's check if I click on active projects. Okay, so here it is. Okay, being controlled by the project list.php. And the view is in the project list view.php. So we'll go back to index because we are in the sidebar. Okay, so in this part, if it is list, says here, our default is list, okay? If we click on active projects, then, okay, this one, then the active CSS, okay, property should be applied, okay, because we have here there a CSS. Observe, if I click on this one, there is no changes in the sidebar. If I click on 102, there is no changes. But if I click on active projects, look, observe the menu. It is colored green and we have a darker blue background. Okay, so that happens if and only if the selected menu is active project. Okay, next list, if project 101 is clicked, there is no condition here in applying CSS, so that is why it is observed that there is no changes when we click on the list as menu. Okay, so this one, project 101 and project 102. Okay, next, what else? Okay, so we also have here the base URL, but okay, like this one, base URL, but it follows with this one. So what being called is the base URL. This is the base URL. There. Okay, remember that? In our configuration, this is our base URL. Followed by sidebar. Followed by this one, index.php. Then check if the active page is list. That depends on the routing from the index.php. If list is active as it is the default one, okay, this one shall control the view. But if not, then leave it blank. Okay, just the default. There's no other, just the default. The default is this one. So while here, if the project 101 is active, okay, or being clicked, there is no active CSS settings, and the directory, okay, request is base URL followed by index.php page detail. Okay, the page detail here in our routing is to be controlled by project details.php. PHP. In project details.php, okay, we have here a function carried by the project variable. Okay, with this project variable here, okay, where shall we get or where shall we view that function? Okay, it's in the model. Okay, I hope you are following very well. So this one here, this function here is being loaded or being called from the project.php, which is now inside the model layer. Okay, the model layer here contains the data, okay, that the controllers logically displays in the view layer. So for this demonstration, we don't have database yet, but we have available data, which is also in our model layer. So we have here in our model layer, okay, a function get all projects. Okay, this get all projects here contains an array of arrays. How is that? An array, so this one is an array, and what it composes are arrays. We have one array and the second array. That is why we call it array of arrays. Okay, so array 1 consists of these values, which is about this display. Okay, so this is one value or one array values, second array values from an array value. Okay, so how is it being displayed? So when we click project 101, that is already one array value. The display is from a certain array. 102 is another display from a certain array. Okay, so if the index is 101, project details shall display this array. Okay, but in this one, the function is get project by ID, not get all projects. Okay, so here is that part. The one being called here, the function here being called is from this one. So this function here is based from this function. So having that function carried in the project's variable, okay, we have here a loop for each projects as project. So now whatever is the value of projects is now the value of project, okay, without s, and this project here is the variable being called in our controller. Okay, I hope you could follow. So if the project ID is equal to the ID being, okay, called or being queried, then return that project, meaning the model or the controller gets the value from the model and display it in the view file. So again, the controller, say for instance, we will be getting 101. So we have here a default, okay, 101. So the array value of 101 is this part, right? So that shall be the 101, then this shall be 101, then whatever it says here in the function, whatever is that ID being queried, put it in the project's variable. In the loop, okay, that project's variable will represent as well as the project variable. Then that ID, if they are the same, okay, then return that value in the controller. Okay, now this controller having 101 index array, okay, or the ID, the ID, then these details shall be displayed in the project details view. So we have here, okay, if a project is returned, so we have here, okay, if a project is returned, then display this one. Its project ID, the location, the status, and the target impact. Let's check if that is really what is being displayed. So if I click on project 102, we have the ID, the location, status, and target impact. If I click on 101, 101, location, status, and target impact. Okay, so that is how MVC works. Okay, unlike in traditional procedural PHP, we'll only have one file, okay, one or two. We could actually have one having all those functions, logics, displays in one page code. Okay, while in MVC, we have lots of files here. Okay, but again, it is safer from public. It is safer from hackers. So programmers, developers are being encouraged to use or deploy the MVC architecture. Okay, and then what else? So that is what happens in MVC. We're done with this. Okay, what else? So, okay, in this part, if there is no project or the queried ID is not in our model, so our controller shall tell, okay, if this one, return null. What the controller will get from the model is null. And that null will be, okay, controlled or logically be fetched by our view through this one. Okay, if there is none, else, if there is none, okay, we have here an error. Requested project record was not found. Okay, what else? Okay, let's have this one. In our two view files, okay, these are called our header, our sidebar, and our footer. That is why when we click this menu, we still have the header, we still have the footer, we still have the sidebar. If we click this item, the same. The header, the sidebar, and the footer are available. What else? Okay, okay, this one. This is for the symbol right arrow. View page. Okay, so this one is being displayed here. Okay, so if we click on that one, we were redirected on the base URL. Observe. I'll click this one. I'll click this one. If I click on this one, we are redirected on the base URL, which is, okay, this one, the index in the public. Index in the public. Then, okay, so here it is. We have our PHP code here calling the base URL. Okay, what else? Okay, and look, if we click on that one, okay, this line. So calling the base URL plus, okay, the browser through the URL bar shall tell us, okay, what ID is being called. Okay, it's the details, okay, the details page, and then what ID is being called. This one, okay, what ID here in the details page. What ID is being called? That should be, if we click on this one, 101. Okay, the case is details, the ID is 101. Okay. What else? What else? So from the index, okay, this one, what page? So the default is list. Okay. So this explains there shall be an alternative. If not display, it might be details. Okay. So if not list, if not the list, not the default, then load the details. Okay, the alternative case. What else? So we have here the break. Okay, if there is a break, then for example, details is being called, then the switch will stop there. It will not read the second or further cases anymore. But if details was not the page being called, then okay, the break here shall be bypassed by the system reading and then read the second case. So for now, we only have two cases. Okay, it says here in our condition, if it is not list, then do the alternative one. But if not, then the default one, because we only have here two cases. Okay, what else? So this was already explained. Config, project list, details. Okay, in the project list, says here, so also, okay, get all projects. It only calls this function. Why? Because the project list here is the controller to display the project list view. And that project list view is this one. If I click this one, it says there, just display all the projects. It is being displayed, all projects there. While in the project details, okay, it is according to the ID. Okay, if 101, then just display that array value from ID 101, then 102. What else? Project details. Okay. Next. Header. Okay, observe this one. Header. It is being cut here. There is no continuation in line 15. It is open. Okay, it is open. Next, in the sidebar, this part here is also open. Okay, so did I explain this already? Yes, it's explained already. Now let's go to footer. Okay, so the first line here is the close tag or closing tag of our sidebar. Okay, in the footer. Okay, so since they are being called here, okay, on the top part of the codes, then the closing parts shall be called in the ending part of the code. That is why the closing tags are here. Line 1 is the closing tag for the header, I don't know, for the sidebar.php, and then the closing tag for our, it says here, end main.wrapper for the header. Okay? Okay. That is the end of that. And then we also have here, okay, the symbol code for copy. Okay, this symbol. Copy followed by the year 2026. Okay, it is by the built-in function date and then just the year. That is why we only put there Y. And then this is just a string. And okay, it ends here. What else? Sidebar, header, project details. So again, remember these project details here and project list are the controllers. Okay, the controllers get data from the model file, which is the project.php, and again, the controller gets data from the project model file and displays it by the controller, of course, in our view files, which is list view and details view. Okay, the routing is the index.php because it is the first one to be loaded. It is our landing page, but that is not a view page. Okay, but again, it depends on the index PHP being controlled by our controllers. Okay, through these cases. What else? Okay. Um, so I think I've explained it already. What else? Okay, let me read the lines first. Okay, this one about the required ones. Okay, so notice that in many pages we use require ones. Okay, in many pages. Where else? This one we also have here require ones, and this one. Okay, require once means the browser shall load it once only, and then followed by the directory. So what file shall be called? Okay, so observe there is a dots here. This means followed by this one. This means, okay, before going to the app folder, for example, let's have this index. Before going to the app folder, we are here in index. Okay, before going to that, this means you step out once only. Step out once only. We will go back once only for us to see the next folder, which is app. Then the next one is config folder. Then there we will find the config.php. So that is how, okay, the file is being required. Okay, so same as this one, go back or step up or step out once only. Okay, next, what else? Okay, so let's review here. We have the tab title, this one, the header. Okay, header, this one. Okay, the ISU extension office, this one, this part here on the right top corner of the header. This one on the left is our app name, global app name, variable. Then when we click on active, okay, the 2 is being displayed. Okay, when we view that one, okay, we have this. Then we view this one. We have one array value, then go back. Then this one, if we choose this one value or one array value, then go back and then same as with this. Okay, so I think I've explained it already, all the parts. Hmm. Oh, this one. So this is the symbol for the left arrow. Okay, back to project list. Where is that? Back to project list, this one. Okay, then where else? Mhm. Okay, for this one, I think I explained it already, but for this part, we have here the projects list, project list controller. Okay, the variable project contains, okay, the projects list, but it says here, whatever the uh, whatever the variable projects contains, place it in variable P. Okay, then the title shall be displayed like this one. Whatever the title of the current or the array index. Okay, then the location. So this is a loop. So, okay. So this one, we have two value arrays. So that's why we had given two projects here. Okay, because it is a loop as long as there is, okay, for each loop. And then this one, view project scope. Okay, redirected on a certain array value. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you had followed how MVC works and how the codes in MVC files communicates with each other. Okay, so thank you so much for listening and God bless everyone.